everyone. Welcome to Inspiration for Today. So glad you tuned in. I think it's going to be a really fun show, especially if you can remember the good old days. That's kind of the theme. That's just a hint for what's coming. The verse for today, let me give that to you right off. 1 Chronicles 16:12 says, "Remember the wonders he has done." And I love that, because God wants us to remember the things that he has done, not only in history, but in our lives also. You know, most of us watching are seniors, so we've lived a while. And God's done so many great things in each one of our lives. And one of them was kind of growing up, going to the movies. And I know I went to the movies quite a bit when I was younger, and it seems like they had Saturday matinees for kids and all that. And the old theater that I went to a lot, it's still there too. It's called the Lido Theater, right as you go into Newport area, the Balboa area. It's right as you go into Lido. It's still there. Well, we came across here in Chelan, in Chelan City, a theater called the Ruby Theater. And you can see, and it's even next to an old hardware store, and it was built almost 110 years ago. The Ruby Theater. I had to look into it, and look into it we did, and we went to a movie there. They're still playing. It's the longest running theater, continuous running in the state of Washington, and some have said maybe in the United States. I don't know that for sure, and no one did for sure actually, but 110 years. The Ruby Theater. Everything about it was different. I showed the outside, and we had the concession stand, and the way that they did the carpet, ruby, and Diane was there. Is so fun. Before I show you some of their old movie posters, listen to the way that they started the movie. I haven't had this in, 40 years? Listen to this.
Kind of marks the Ruby as a historic landmark. We have our pressed tin ceilings. There's the horseshoe-shaped balcony, the pavement plaster proscenium. All factors in going toward the phrase, "they don't make them like they used to." The same can be said for singers. Tonight's film, Respect, is a biopic featuring Aretha Franklin.
Wasn't that something? I mean, he comes out all dressed up to tell us about the theater and what's coming on and that and about the theater. I thought that was so cool. And there were so we went to a matinee. I'd say there were 10 people in the theater altogether. So safely distanced, you could say. Well, I ask you to think about the good old days, because we had those. Hey, in fact, in that theme, they played some old movie posters. So let's watch those. See which stars. I didn't remember, I don't think, any of the movies, but I probably remembered 3/4 of the stars. See what you remember. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Looking back at those old posters and some of the movies, I wonder if you remember some of those movies. Maybe some of you do. By the way, it did open in 1914. Talkies came to this theater, at least, in 1930. And I think back at that, and wow, that's right as the Great Depression was beginning. The first movie was called Sweetie. I never even heard of that, Sweetie. I guess they didn't, because I think the first talkie, wasn't it Al Jolson? Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. But evidently they didn't show that as the first. It was a movie called Sweetie. And then back in a couple other facts. It cost $6,500 to build. But a dollar went a lot further in those days, didn't it? And actually, that seems a little high to me, but that's what they say it cost. It was registered in the year, just in 2009, I think it was, as a historical place in America. So it is amazing. They started with a piano, of course, that played while the movie played, and then later the talkies came, and then they upgraded today in 1998 to just modern equipment, Dolby sound and digital. So it was a good movie experience. But I just thought it was a lot of fun. I think God wants us to look back at those things in our life where He blessed us. And you know, not all things were good at the time and in and of themselves. And seeing this theater really made me think about, why did I go to the movies so much? Well, in one sense, it was an escape. I mean, I was an only child, we moved often because my mom divorced several times, and every time we had to move. And so oftentimes I would be in a new place, and one of the things I think that she enjoyed doing was taking me down to go to the movies. So I remember doing that. But you know what? Even some of those times, I look back and God was building into my life. And I always have empathy for those who are going through similar things, such as when their parents get divorced. I know how they're feeling. God uses even hard times for good. But for most of our life, the things that we think of, that's why we call them, isn't it? We call them what? The good old days. It's not that bad things didn't happen, but indeed, we remember we remember the good things, even much more so, oftentimes. And I encourage you to do that today. What a good thing for today. Maybe this subject has even brought back memories to you. Like, I'd love, if there was a way we could interact, I would love to hear what your favorite old movie, I don't even know what old means, but what was your favorite old movie? Hey, write me and tell, if you write me and tell me, we'll get it on the air at some point, because I know people would find it interesting. You know, even when I think of that myself, I'm not even sure what I would answer. No, I can't think of what it would be. But I did love a lot of those movies. But you know why? Mostly because my grandmother took me. Those are the ones that I love the most, because my grandmother took me. What are your memories in that? Can you say with 1 Chronicles 6, remember the wonders He has done? That's our verse for the day. Let's do that. Let's remember and give God thanks for the memories He has given you and He's given me. Hey, I've loved being with you from Lake Chelan. Thank you so much for watching. And you're going to see some new places starting tomorrow. God bless. See you then.